Alright then, just taking a quick look at Chainlink here on our daily time frame for another daily update on the channel. As always, thanks a lot for joining me, guys. We are taking a look at the charts here. As we can see, quite a few cryptos forming up this nice little pattern right now, which I think is quite interesting. We've got this really obvious liquidity above that we're forming. You can see this trend line liquidity here, where there's probably tons of stop losses starting to accumulate. We've obviously just swept out tons and tons of leverage below. Pretty much everyone that was in leverage long positions for Chainlink, all the way down to just below $8, which is incredible, really. Pretty much everyone has been absolutely swiped out of the markets there in terms of leverage. As you can see, we've come down, we've back tested into that previous bear market range. As you can see, we've got the break, the retest, the continuation, the back test, and we're trying to continue here, as you can see. But obviously, we are really struggling in general for altcoins. Chainlink outperforming most altcoins because it has been quite highly correlated to Ethereum's price action recently, which has been obviously performing better than most of our altcoins, which have been pretty flat and going sideways in ranges. Lots of them looking very bad, if I'm being completely honest. Chainlink here, so it's got half a correlation to Ethereum and half a correlation to the bad price action of our altcoins. Chainlink in a bit of a weird spot in general, a very weird chart. It's kind of been grinding to the upside throughout this cycle. You can see we were basically just stuck in this range here between, was it $5 and $8? Underneath this 0.23 Fibonacci level, you would say. We finally got the break of that. We came up, we tapped the 618. You can see we were bouncing around in our Fibonacci levels throughout last year. We got the lovely bit of resistance here, support, resistance. We come down, find resistance, support, resistance, and then you can see we're coming down here, coming down. We get that tap into the 0.23 Fibonacci, form a little bit of a range, and then get another impulse here going into Trump, obviously winning the election. Bullish for crypto, at least that was the sentiment. We come up here, pretty much tap into the 0.78 Fibonacci more or less, bouncing out of our 618 for a while, and then we get the tariff dump. We come down in a bit of a descending wedge type situation here, where we're kind of coming down like this, looking for the area that we're going to bounce at. We finally come here, and we actually broke out here and kind of formed a little bit of a range. You can see the high, the low, very clearly defined. Putting in a range here for Chainlink. Interesting price action on this one because pretty much all of our altcoins have done this. Whereas Chainlink has kind of started to break out in line with Ethereum, only to get pegged back by that liquidation cascade we saw last week anyway. But as you can see, we were kind of forming some interesting chart. We've got this very obvious resistance here. We came down, swept liquidity below this Fibonacci level, bounced back up, broke out here. We actually broke through our range high, back tested our fib level here, the 0.50, broke through on the next impulse to 618 Fibonacci here, and then we were kind of struggling for a while, and then obviously with that liquidation cascade last week, big bearish candle, we come down, we sweep out liquidity on so many levels, it's untrue. We've got all these major swing levels, all the way down to this one, all swept out of liquidity before bouncing back up. Pretty incredible stuff. The 0.50, the 0.318, the 0.38 I should say, and the 0.23 Fibonacci extensions all getting their liquidity swept out, which I think is absolutely fascinating. Tons and tons of people wrecked in the markets in terms of leverage, but we did bounce back up really quite bullishly, if I'm being completely honest, or at the very least looking like we had a huge liquidation cascade, which probably shouldn't have happened on exchanges, just to bounce back up to where we probably should have dropped to. Bitcoin's dropping 20%. If Bitcoin's dropping 10%, then you would expect your altcoins to be dropping 20-30%. And that's where we recovered to for Chainlink here. As you can see, we got down to 24% on the day. Closing not that badly, to be honest. You could argue bouncing out of this 0.50 Fibonacci. Bit of a relief rally back into this big fair value gap, this daily fair value gap here, as you can see. But in reality, probably just looking like, let me just look at this actually, this would be interesting. A pretty perfect, this is very fascinating to me. A perfect retest of our 0.50 Fibonacci of the close. From the high to the pull of this, from the high of the day till the close of the day, we recover perfectly up to that 50% level and then reject, which is exactly what Bitcoin did. If you look at what Bitcoin did here, I've already got this marked on the charts. This is our daily candle. Fibonacci pull from the high to the low. You pull it back in, perfect retest of our 50%. As you can see, people piling basically taking profit here or starting to pile into shorts. Once I saw this big bearish reaction the next day, I knew that we were going to come down and sweep out this liquidity here. This just looks so obvious to me. There's probably tons of stop losses under here. Everyone's going, oh my god, we're going to bounce and go to all-time highs again. And then we just come down and wreck everybody basically as they start to pile into longs again. They're going, this is a support level. It's held 3 times. We're obviously going to just bounce here and go to the upside. But as you can see, really all that happened was that we came down and swept people out. So as always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.